One of the things we realized from these cuts, Trevor, is that 205 Live doesn't have that many people left on its roster. The likes of Tony Nese, Aria Davari, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, and the Bollywood Boys were all let go from WWE in the latest round of cuts. Many of those people were let go and are part of the 205 Live production, or at least have been over the past few months. It is expected that WWE is going to continue to present 205 Live on a weekly basis, despite all of these cuts and despite all of these releases. But the question that I have is, Trevor, how can they do that when they've released a lot of their roster, when the Cruiserweight champion almost never wrestles on 205 Live? The Cruiserweight champion is almost exclusive now to NXT. So, like, what is the future of 205 Live after these cuts? Is it dead? Is it gone?
I think it's been gone dead for a while. I thought it was. I honestly forgot that 205 still existed. And that's not being funny. That's being honest. Because, let's see, Buddy Murphy was 205. He was sent to the main roster. Tony Nese wrestled on the main roster every once in a while. He hasn't been on 205 in a while. I don't even know who the who is the champion right now? The what's his name, right?
The guy it's the guy from NXT. You know who it is.
Yeah. His theme is like Back to the Future type thing. The man.
Oh my God! I cannot believe I forgot his name. He's actually like a world renowned. It's the dude from. Oh my God! It's how did I forget Kushida's name? How did I forget Kushida's name? Oh my God!
It was Kushida. I forgot Kushida's name too. I feel bad about it.
We should not be qualified to be on the show. Yeah. Then again, here
for a number of reasons. You're right.
Anyway, continue.
Look, no, Kushida. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Kushida is amazing, of course. Love Kushida, but Kushida, if he's the 205 he's a cruiserweight champion, he should be wrestling on 205 Live. He's not, and they haven't even pushed him to go in there. Like 205, I like in its conception. I like the idea of it. I did. I like the fact that it had a lot of good talent from around the world performing on it. I love the cruiserweight tournament. I thought it was awesome. It's great to watch, but as most of the things that WWE touched, it turned to shit.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. WWE has a lot of programming, but and they like to talk about how they have all this programming, but when was the last time you ever saw like an advertisement for 205 Live? Like, it's been a very long time. When was the last time they really pushed that on Raw or SmackDown? It's been a long time. And what I take away from that is, it's a repetition of a pattern we're seeing from WWE. That being that they don't care. They're just putting out shows with very little regard of what's on them. And you can do that when you're a company getting paid like all this money by Peacock, when you're like to just put out programming, because they don't have any incentive to really have good programming on things like Main Event or on 205 Live, because they don't have the network anymore. Before, it was all done through the network, and WWE relied on bringing people towards the network to make money off of it. Now it's all third party. Now they already have their money guaranteed with Peacock. They can just put out whatever they want, and it doesn't really matter. So I think that's why you're seeing a less of an emphasis on 205 Live. And look, I think they want it to continue. They want like this show to continue. They want, we're going to showcase the cruiserweights. How many cruiserweights do you have left on your roster now? Unless you're going to do a massive restructuring of the entire roster, which why not do it again for the fourth time in like 3 years? But unless you're going to do that and you're going to bring people like Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, and make them exclusive to 205 Live or something like that and elevate that brand, it's going to die. It's going to be, and death doesn't even mean that it's going to be like, off TV or it's going to be canceled. WWE Main Event is still a show, Trevor, that's being like shown. That brand is dead. Nobody even cares. I
I
want to know.
watched it 2 weeks ago just for shit and giggles.
So you're the fan. You're the
I'm the
fan.
only one, yeah.
The fan. The one rating. Oh, you just popped. That show is going to survive another 2 years because of you, Trevor. Just know that. But you know, in all seriousness, at a certain point, man, you have to think that WWE is a company that doesn't really care about the product that they're putting out. How dangerous is that? That's like, then why should I care if they don't? You know, like that's what I'm starting to feel about all of this. Why should I care when they don't?
I mean, I've felt that way for a long time, honestly. Like, to be honest, when we first started this show, and when we first talked about wrestling, like, you know, again, you mentioned it many times before. We casually kind of like, yeah, you know, I used to watch wrestling, and I used to really watch wrestling, but at that time, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched the Monday Night Raw. And then I said, you know what, let me start checking it out or whatever, and I start watching Monday Night Raw, and I'm like, I remember why I don't watch Monday Night Raw anymore.
Yeah.
And then, like, I watched more SmackDown, and there was a point where I stopped watching wrestling altogether, honestly, because I was just fed up with what was going on, and like there was really nothing else to watch. And then I also watched NWA, which I like NWA. I mean, and I will watch ROH and things like that. But like, it's just WWE is just hard to watch when you know when you have other knowledge besides, oh, this wrestler's finishing hold, or where this wrestler's from, or things like that. When you have knowledge of the company and you realize the bullshit that is going on behind the scenes with different promoters and like different CEOs and things like that, and different talent, you start to realize like they don't give a fuck. Why should I?
Yeah.
And it just happened. And it's just one of those things you're like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to watch this. And it's a shame, because some of the best times when I was younger growing up were watching old school WWF. And like, it's just a shame. It's just not what I used to watch anymore at all.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, the last thing I want to talk about 205 Live, then we'll move on, is kind of its legacy. Because, look, 205 Live, when it first came on, it was a breath of fresh air. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was a cool idea. Have all the cruiserweights wrestle on one show, showcase them. And it originally, like, the Cruiserweight Classic, obviously, was amazing. And I thought they should have turned that into something like they do yearly, where they bring in the world's best cruiserweights who aren't even involved in WWE. People like Zack Sabre Jr. were in it originally. Right. Like have that, and like have there be a tournament to determine a challenger, and have like there be, you know, maybe a 205 Live pay-per-view or something, you know, something along those lines. You could have done something very special with it. Instead, they kind of went around and just made it a B. They made it a B cruiserweight show. So you didn't even get like the main event cruiserweight people on the show at one point. You got like the class B, the tier 2 cruiserweights on the show, and they became a joke. And that's when wrestling, like that's when it gets bad, man. When you treat the show like a joke, and it was supposed to be something pure that people liked, a brand that had like 205 Live was a brand that had the hardcore wrestling fans behind it. That's the sad part. That's the saddest part, and I think that's what's going to be the saddest part about its legacy. It had every reason to succeed, but despite that, Trevor, it failed. It still failed.
It did, and it's a damn shame. Like I said, like you said, it's pretty much the same thing I said. Like, I loved the Cruiserweight tournament. It was wrestlers that I hadn't seen in a long. Tajiri was in that tournament, actually.
Fucking Tadgers. I love Tajiri.
Dude, it was amazing to see him keep going. Like it, and he hadn't lost a step either. I don't know if you saw that tournament. I'm sure you did, but he did not lose a step. He looked good in great
Japanese
shape.
buzzsaw, man. He still got it.
Damn, man, it was great to see him. Shit, him. What's the other kid that was there? They used to be in WWE before. It was a couple of people there. Like, I just saw, I was like, wow, this is great to see them, because I haven't seen them in years. And then when they made an actual show about it, you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And it was for a minute.
It truly was. Like, there was a moment, like 205 Live it came to prominence in this era of WWE where in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like that era where WWE, they were really trying, like they bought up a lot of indies. They were having a lot of indies on the network, and and they were grabbing a lot of good talent. There was truly a time where you thought that WWE was going to consolidate wrestling, and
Yep.
everything was eventually going to be under a WWE umbrella. That was actually where we were headed to, and and you were and here's the thing, I wasn't mad about it necessarily because I saw things like 205 Live, I saw
No.
other things that WWE were doing. I saw I saw the what WWE was doing as far as NXT and everything. I was excited, and then 2 short years later, it's just pure disappointment. It's sad. It's sad what has happened to 205 Live. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.